Prologue. The day the sky dropped a boy. The sky shouldn't scream, but that day it did. A deafening crack split the air above the ancient kingdom of Aravel, sending warriors scrambling, farmers dropping their tools, and castle guards shouting orders they barely understood. Someone, was falling. The king, Aldrich Varin, looked up sharply from the courtyard where he trained. His soldiers later swore they had never seen their cold, fearsome king widen his eyes in shock. But that was exactly what happened when the sky tore open, and a figure plummeted straight toward him. Aldrich moved on instinct. One powerful leap, one outstretched arm, and the boy dropped from the heavens directly into the king's arms. The boy blinked up at him, dazed, smelling like onions and burnt toast. He croaked. Please tell me I didn't die from slipping on a frying pan. Aldrich stared down at the strange boy with flour on his cheek, apron tied crookedly around his waist. The fearsome king, scourge of enemies, terror of traitors, opened his mouth to respond. Instead, he fainted. And that was how the kingdom's coldest king was brought to his knees, by a cook falling from the sky. Chapter 1. The cook who wanted a raise, not a husband did. Lion Chen had 3 goals that morning. 1. Don't burn anything. 2. Don't get yelled at. 3. And maybe, just maybe, convince his boss to give him a raise. Unfortunately, goal #1 was already failing. Smoke poured out of the pan as he frantically shook it. No, don't you dare carbonize on me. I'm too young to die by omelette. Chef Marlowe, a man who believed emotions were for weaklings and seasoning was optional, stomped over. Lion, what did I just... Before he could finish, Lion slipped on a puddle of spilled soup. The ladle flew. The pan flipped. Leon's life flashed before his eyes, mostly memories of kitchen disasters. Then, bang, shock. A blinding white light swallowed him whole. Is this the afterlife? He muttered as he floated weightlessly. Where are the sparkles, the angels, the food? Instead, the light twisted, warped, and spat him downward like trash rejected by heaven. Wind whipped his hair. His apron flapped like a dying seagull. No, not like this. I want a refund on my afterlife experience. The ground rushed toward him. Or rather, a very large, very muscular man. The man's arms caught him, surprisingly warm, strong, and wrapped in armor. Leon blinked dumbly. The man had a sharp jaw, long black hair tied with a golden clasp, and eyes dark as storm clouds. Before Lion could process anything else, the man fainted dramatically onto the courtyard stones. Wow, Leon whispered. I finally made a man fall for me, literally. Guards encircled him instantly, swords drawn. Identify yourself, Sky Demon. What creature are you? Does it speak? I'm a cook? Leon squeaked. I make dumplings, not magic. They dragged him to the palace before he could argue. The palace that looked too expensive to touch. The palace was enormous. Intimidating. Fancy enough that just breathing on a wall probably cost money. And it was filled with people glaring at him like he was a cursed radish. Lion stumbled along between 2 guards. Could someone explain? Am I being kidnapped? Arrested? Pressed into royal dishwashing servitude? No one answered. Finally, he was shoved into a grand hall where advisors whispered urgently. He fell from the heavens into His Majesty's arms. A sign, an omen, or a curse. Lion raised a hand weakly. Can someone please tell me why a cooking accident got me isekai into a period drama? At that moment, the giant doors slammed open. The cold king entered. But now he wasn't fainted. Aldrich walked tall, sword at his hip, cloak trailing behind him like shadows. His expression was carved from granite, until his eyes landed on the lion. Those storm-dark eyes widened, just slightly. "You," the king said. "Me," Leon echoed, trying to look less like a flour-dusted goblin. Aldrich stepped closer. Leon stepped back. Aldrich stepped more. Leon bumped into a column. "Why are you looking at me like that?" The king studied him closely. "You fell from the sky into my arms. That wasn't on purpose." "Regardless," Aldrich said calmly, turning to his council, "the omen is clear." Everyone nodded as if they understood something obvious. "What omen?" Leon asked, panicked. The king's next words nearly stopped his heart. "It means," Aldrich said with terrifying finality, "you're destined to become my spouse." Leon screamed. The entire hall echoed. "No offense, your majesty," he shouted, "but I just wanted a raise." The day Lion tried all 5 stages of escape. Stage 1. Denial. "This is a nightmare. I'm hallucinating. Someone hit me with a frying pan." Stage 2. Bargaining. "What if I become your royal chef instead? Court jester? Professional cloud watcher?" Stage 3. Anger. "You can't just marry strangers that fall from the sky. That's not how marriage works. I googled it." Stage 4. Sadness. "I didn't even finish making breakfast. My omelette died in vain." Stage 5. Desperate escape attempt. Leon darted toward the side exit. Unfortunately, Aldrich was fast. Very fast. One strong arm wrapped around Elia's waist mid-sprint, lifting him off the ground like a misbehaving cat. "Put me down. I refuse marital capture." "No. This is kidnapping." "Marriage," Aldrich corrected. "Same thing when I didn't agree." The king actually barely smirked. Leon's heart flipped. His brain screamed, "No. Don't fall for the pretty scary man." But his heart wasn't listening. The announcement that ruined everyone's afternoon. Aldrich turned to the hall. "The wedding will be held tomorrow." "Tomorrow!" Leon yelped. "No, that's too fast. I need time, space, therapy." The council bowed. "As the omen commands." Leon tried again. "Can I at least get dinner before marriage?" The king nodded. "You will dine with me tonight." Leon froze. "That's not what I meant." But the decision was made. The kingdom buzzed with rumors, the wives murmured in shock, and Lion was dragged off by palace servants to prepare. Meanwhile, Aldrich watched him go, expression unreadable. No one noticed the slight warmth in the king's gaze, or the way his hand lingered in the air where he had held the strange boy. Chapter 2. A wedding he wasn't invited to. Leon had experienced many terrible things in life. Packets of salt exploding in his face. On the day he accidentally turned the kitchen's rice cooker into a flamethrower. But nothing, absolutely nothing, compared to being shoved into a royal bath by a team of overly enthusiastic palace attendants who acted as if scrubbing him was a national duty. Stop exfoliating me like you're trying to erase my soul." Leon howled as one attendant scoured his arm. "The royal groom must shine," the attendant replied curtly. "Shine? I'm a human, not a frying pan." Another splashed water on his face. "His Majesty's spouse must be presentable." "I don't want to be His Majesty's anything." They ignored him completely. The pampering session from hell. Leon was dried, perfumed, trimmed, polished, dressed, undressed, redressed, and possibly spiritually violated. "Too tight," he yelped as someone tied a corset-like wrap around his waist. "It enhances your figure," the attendant said. "My figure is fine. I'm going to faint before the king does." He was shoved in front of a bronze mirror. He blinked. "Who is that gorgeous man?" Silk robes in deep blue draped over him. Gold thread sparkled. His hair was tied with silver pins. His skin glowed, mostly from all the forced scrubbing. Lion blinked again. Oh no, I'm hot. He covered his face dramatically. I can't marry a scary king looking like this. He might actually like me. One attendant paused. Is that? Yes, no, maybe, I don't know. I didn't sign up for an emotional crisis. The palace in chaos. Word spread faster than wildfire. The heavenly boy is even more beautiful than expected. The cold king is marrying him tomorrow. The queens are furious. I heard he fell from the sky. No, he crawled out of a magic pot. My cousin's friend's uncle saw him burst from a pineapple. By the time Leon was escorted to his temporary bedroom, he was exhausted. He slumped onto the bed. I want to go home. I miss microwaves, wifey. A knock sounded. He groaned. If it's more attendants, I swear I'll jump out the window, even if I land on another king. The door opened. It wasn't attendants. It was a woman, beautiful, elegant, dressed in pale gold. Her face looked calm, but her eyes held sadness. Ah, she said softly. So you are the new spouse. Leanne gulped. Are you? I am Queen Mira, she answered. The king's first wife. Lion nearly choked on air. Wife number 1. Queen Mira smiled gently. Do not be afraid. I hold no anger toward you, the king. He has changed much over the years. If fate brought you here, I will accept it. Oh, Leanne breathed. You're incredibly nice. Her smile widened with motherly fondness. You look very young. Are you frightened? I don't want to marry anyone, Lion admitted, cheeks warming. Especially a king who looks like he's carved from intimidation. Mira laughed softly. Aldrich appears cold, but he is not cruel. He protects those he cares for. The door slammed open. A second woman stormed in. This one was a fiery storm in human form. Her dress was blood red, her eyes sharp as blades. I knew it, she snapped. I knew the king was hiding his new toy in here. Leon squeaked. Mira sighed. Solara, please. This was wife number 2. Queen Solara pointed accusingly at Lion. So you're the boy, the one who fell from the sky and stole my position. I should have known you'd be annoyingly cute. Leon blinked. Am I being threatened or complimented? Both. Solara stomped closer until her nose was an inch from his. Listen, Cloud Child, I won't make this easy for you. I worked hard to marry this king. Leon flailed. I didn't even work hard to fall from the sky. I tripped over soup. Mira covered her mouth, suppressing laughter. Solara huffed. Well, tomorrow is the wedding. You better not embarrass the king or me, or yourself. Lion raised a trembling finger. Can I embarrass someone else? Like a tree? Or destiny? No. Dinner with doom. By the time the royal guards came to escort him to dinner, Leon was mentally fried. His Majesty waits, the guard announced. Leon gulped. Can't he wait forever? The guard did not laugh. The dining hall was massive, lit by golden lanterns and filled with aromas of roasted meats and sweet glazes. At the far end sat King Aldrich, looking unfairly attractive. Leon nearly tripped over his own silk shoes. Aldrich stood. Sit. You say that like I have a choice. You don't. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. But Lion sat anyway. Aldrich watched him closely, as if studying a puzzle he wasn't sure how to solve. You look acceptable, the king said. Lion choked on his own breath. Ah, acceptable. That's it? I spent 2 hours being sandpapered alive to look acceptable? Aldrich's lips twitched. the tiniest upward curve. Better, he corrected softly. You look better. Lian froze. Was that a compliment? Aldrich cleared his throat, awkwardly turning away. EA. They began to dine. Lion tried a bite. Oh, this is actually fantastic. Aldrich nodded. I chose the menu myself. Lion stared. Wait, you have taste buds? I thought stone-hearted kings didn't eat normal food. Aldrich raised a brow. Stone-hearted. Lian panicked. I didn't say that out loud. You did? Please forget it. I won't. Lion hid behind his cup. The proposal attempt. Aldrich finally set his utensils down. We have matters to discuss. Lian's soul left his body. No important talks. Let's talk about, weather. Yes, weather is safe. We are getting married tomorrow. Except that topic. That topic is radioactive. You do not wish to marry me. Lion bit his lip. I really don't. Aldrich remained silent. Then, none. I will not force you. Lion's head snapped up. What? Aldrich continued quietly. But if the omen is true, if fate truly brought you here, maybe we should learn what it means. Lian blinked. The king wasn't angry. He wasn't cold. He looked uncertain, almost gentle. Lion's heartbeat tripped. That's surprisingly reasonable, he whispered. Aldrich's gaze softened. However, the ceremony must proceed. The council believes it is necessary for stability, but your choice, your heart, will remain yours. Lion blinked again. Then again. Wait, he said slowly. Are you being nice to me? Aldrich stiffened. Don't misunderstand. You are being nice. I am simply not cruel. Which is basically the same as nice. It is not. You're nicer than my boss, at least. Aldrich frowned. Your, boss? Oh, Chef Marlowe. He threw spatulas at me sometimes. Aldrich's jaw tightened. He threw things at you. Lian waved a hand. It's okay, my reflexes are great. Well, except the time I fell through the sky. Aldrich stared at him with growing intensity. Lion, he said slowly. You will not be harmed here. Something warm curled in Lion's chest. Damn it. The king wasn't supposed to be gentle. How was Leon supposed to stay mad at a man who said things like that? The night before the disaster wedding. Back in his room, Lion paced. He tried to talk himself out of soft feelings. Nope. No falling for kings. Absolutely not. Forbidden, illegal, full red flag zone. But he kept remembering the warmth in Aldrich's eyes when he said, You will not be harmed here. Lian flopped onto the bed dramatically. I'm doomed. Because for the first time, he wasn't just afraid of marrying a king. He was afraid of how much he didn't hate the idea anymore. Chapter 3. 2 Wives and 1 Problem. Leon's first morning in the palace began with the sound of someone yelling outside his door. It wasn't a scream of terror. It was worse. It was the shrill, offended screech of Queen Solara. Where is he? The Sky Boy, the Omen Child, the walking disaster who somehow seduced the king by falling on him. Lian sat up in bed with a gasp. Oh no, it's too early for violence. Before he could escape through the window, a plan he absolutely would have attempted, the door flew open. 3 people entered. Mira, calm as a peaceful river. Solara, chaotic as a storm. A terrified maid caught between them, silently begging the universe for mercy. Lian hid behind his blanket. Is this a hostage negotiation? Should I raise my hands? Solara stomped forward. You. May. Lion squeaked. You ruined my entire morning. Do you know how many messengers have been bothering me about your wedding preparations? My dressmaker fainted. That sounds like a you problem, Lion muttered. Mira pressed a hand to her mouth to hide a smile. Solara pointed dramatically. How dare you? I am the second queen of Aravel and you. Aren't I technically the third? Leon asked weakly. That was the wrong thing to say. Solara shrieked. The royal showdown. Mira stepped between them gently. Solara, he did not intend to cause trouble. He exists, Mira. That's already trouble. Yay. I didn't ask to exist, Leon protested. I didn't ask to fall from the sky, or meet a king, or get moisturized aggressively. Solara gasped. You were moisturized. They used the jasmine oil, didn't they? Leon blinked. Honestly, I think they used the whole bottle. My heart. Solara clutched her chest. My precious jasmine reserve. Mira rubbed her temple. Solara, you are making this worse. Leon nodded rapidly. Yeah, let's calm down. Breathe. Solara glared so sharply that Lion felt his future children shiver. Listen, Cloud Child. I don't care if you fell from the heavens or crawled out of a soup bowl. I will not let you waltz into this palace and take my king. Waltz? I can't even do a two-step. Solara leaned in closer. If you cause any trouble, I will personally send you back into the sky. Leon gulped. That sounded like a threat. Now? It was. What if I cause accidental trouble? No trouble. Leon raised his hand timidly. I cause accidental trouble as a personality trait. Solara shrieked again. Mira quickly stepped between them. Enough, Solara, you are frightening him. Leon nodded vigorously. Yes, very frightened, terrified even. Please consider using indoor voices. Solara crossed her arms with a huff. He's too fragile. I am not fragile. Lion protested, right before tripping over the hem of his robe and crashing to the floor like a dying swan. Solara stared down at him. I rest my case. Breakfast with tension. The queens escorted, dragged, him to the breakfast hall. The entire palace staff lined up in rows, watching as Lion stumbled in like a baby deer learning to walk. Aldrich was already seated. As soon as he saw Lion, his eyes softened. Just a fraction, but enough for both queens to notice. Solara inhaled sharply. Scale, look at him. His Majesty is pitying the sky boy. Mira hid her smile behind her sleeve. Leon awkwardly sat across from Aldrich. Hello. Good morning, Aldrich said in a low voice. Leon's heart skipped a beat. Why did the king sound like a romantic drama protagonist at 8 a.m.? Solara plopped into her seat with a loud offended thump. So, how was everyone's night? I didn't sleep. Too many thoughts, most of them about him. Aldrich ignored her entirely. Instead, he looked at Lion. Were you comfortable? Leon froze mid-sip of tea. I mean, your pillows are amazing, very fluffy. I sank like a marshmallow. Aldrich's lips twitched. Solara almost exploded. Why are you smiling at him? You never smile at me. Mira calmly cut her fruit. Because you keep threatening to stab people, Solara. It's called passion. Leon whispered to Aldrich. Do they always argue like this? Yes. Like, every morning. Yes. Oh, so the palace comes with background noise. Aldrich almost laughed. Almost. The sound caught in his throat, and instead he coughed to hide it. Solara pointed a fork at Lion. Stop making the king almost smile. I didn't do anything. That's the problem. Mira placed a gentle hand on Solara's arm. Sister, please, the wedding is today. Let us not begin it with chaos. Solara hissed like a disgruntled cat, but finally stopped. The garden incident. After breakfast, Mira led Leon to the palace gardens. Leon looked around nervously. Are you sure Solara won't jump out of a bush and attack me? Mira smiled softly. I will protect you. Leon blinked. Wait, you will protect me? Yes, Mira said. Solara has a sharp tongue, but she is not dangerous. I, however, know how to throw a knife. Leon stared. Mira's serene smile never changed. Mira, remind me never to anger you. That would be wise. Then, gently, she added, though I have no reason to dislike you. Solara is jealous, yes, but I am only sad. Leon's heart softened. Because the king is marrying again? Mira nodded. Aldrich and I were wed by duty. We grew into companionship, but never love. I had thought, perhaps one day, that would change. Oh, Leon whispered, feeling unexpectedly guilty. But seeing how he looks at you, Mira continued, I understand that perhaps love has finally found its way to him, even if it is strange, sudden, and comedic. Leon covered his face. I don't know how he looks at me. Every time he stares, I panic. My soul leaves through my ears. Mira laughed quietly. You will learn to endure it. Love begins with chaos, but it grows with patience. Leon sighed. I don't even know if he likes me. He looks very blank. Mira shook her head. With Aldrich, blank is good. Blank means he cares. If he disliked you, you would know. That makes me afraid to know. Suddenly, a loud rustle came from the bushes. Solara leapt out dramatically like an angry squirrel. Ah, I knew you two were talking about me. Leon screamed. Mira sighed. Solara, we can see you. Solara pointed at Leon. I knew you were plotting something, whispering, planning to charm the king. I was not charming anything. Solara narrowed her eyes. Plotting lies. I was panicking. Same thing. Mira finally snapped. Solara, enough. Solara froze. Mira hadn't raised her voice, but her tone had changed, smooth, calm, and terrifying. Solara quickly straightened. Oh, of course, sister. Leon covered his mouth in awe. Wow, you tamed her. That was not taming, Mira murmured. That was warning. Leon swallowed hard. The king shows up. Aldrich arrived in the garden, looking for Leon. Mira and Solara instantly stiffened into polite queen mode. Aldrich's gaze went straight to Lion. You disappeared. Lion blinked. Yaoi, I was in the garden. Aldrich stepped closer. You should have told me. Solara gasped. He doesn't need to announce his location. Aldrich ignored her completely. Are you well? Leon nodded. Yes, I think so. Mostly emotionally damaged, but overall alive. Aldrich's brow softened. Good. Solara nearly screamed. He's being so gentle with him. Why? Why? Mira sighed. Because they like each other, Solara. We do not. Leon yelped. Aldrich said nothing, but his silence was telling. He gently took Leon's wrist. Come, there are final preparations. Leon gulped. Please, don't let any more servants exfoliate me. No one will touch you, Aldrich said firmly. You are under my protection. Leon froze. Solara froze. Mira smiled. The king continued, voice low. And I will not allow anyone, to frighten you. Leon's face caught fire. Okay, good. Yes, very safe, very protected. Solara shrieked. He's flirting. I can't watch this. But Aldrich didn't let go of Lion's wrist, and Lion didn't pull away. Chapter 4. The King Who Shields the Boy. Lion had expected many things on the day of his royal wedding. Mew, panic attacks, amniotic fainting, maybe spontaneous combustion. What he did not expect was to be marched through the palace by a king holding his wrist like Lion was a lost child in a dangerous supermarket. Aldrich, Lian whispered urgently. Everyone is staring at us. Yes, Aldrich replied calmly. Why? Because I am the king. That doesn't help. Aldrich slowed his steps. Is it uncomfortable? Uncomfortable? Being the focus of every noble's gossip-filled eyeballs? With the king of the realm holding him like a priceless artifact? Yes, Leon hissed. Extremely. Aldrich paused. And then, very gently, he let go. Lion nearly face-planted the moment the support disappeared. The king's hand shot out to steady him again. Leon blushed. You don't have to touch me every time I almost die. I do, Aldrich said simply. Leon froze. Solara, who had been fake following them from 10 paces behind, let out an explosive whisper scream. Mira, did you hear that? He said it so casually. Mira nodded, mildly amused. Yes, quite romantic. Lion wanted to crawl into a potted plant. The attempted escape #7. The moment Aldrich stepped aside to speak to advisors, Lion slipped around a column. Freedom, 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 he whispered, tiptoeing toward an exit. He made it exactly 4 seconds before being scooped off the floor like a sack of rice. Put me down, Lion screeched, flailing wildly. No, Aldrich said, carrying him under one arm as he marched back inside. You can't manhandle me every time I try to escape. I can. That's abuse. It's prevention. From what? You running into things. I was running into freedom. Aldrich stopped, a faint smirk ghosting over his lips. Wars do not lead to freedom. I wasn't going to run into... Oh, God, I would have run into a wall, wouldn't I? Yes. Leon sulked. Aldrich set him down gently. Stay with me. Leon's face heated. You can't just say things like that with your sexy king voice. Aldrich blinked. My, what? Nothing. The confrontation in the Silk Hall. While the palace bustled with last-minute preparations, Leon was dragged, politely, but still dragged, to the Silk Hall to be fitted for ceremonial robes. He didn't even get 3 steps into the room before Queen Solara jumped in front of him like a guard dog. Nope, not allowed, unauthorized skyboy entrance. Leon threw up his hands. I'm literally the groom. The wedding is about me. Exactly, Solara hissed. That's the problem. Mira approached more gracefully. We simply came to see if you needed help, Lion. Solara snorted. We came to make sure he doesn't seduce the king with fabric. Leon blinked. What kind of fabric do you think I'm wearing? Seduction silk? Solara gasped. Is that a thing? Does seduction silk exist? Mira sighed. No. The tailor hurried in with robes of shimmering gold and royal blue. Leon stared. I can't wear that. That costs more than my entire life. You belong to the king, Solara said. Everything about you will be expensive from now on. That sounds terrifying. Yes, good, be terrified. Mira gently pushed Solara aside. Ignore her. But before Lion could try anything on, Solara cornered him. You listen carefully, Skyboy. If you think marrying the king makes you special, you're wrong. Trust me, nothing about this feels special, Lion whispered. Solara grabbed the front of his robe. You may fool the king with your innocent eyes and helpless act, but you will not fool me. I'm not acting, Lian squeaked. I'm genuinely helpless. Solara's eyes narrowed. We'll see. At that exact moment, Aldrich walked into the silk hall. He saw Solara gripping Lia's clothes. He saw Lian's panicked face. And something in him snapped. The king who shields the boy. Aldrich strode forward so fast the air around him shifted. He stepped between Lian and Solara, pushing Solara back with a single hand on her shoulder. Not violently, just firmly, dominantly, terrifyingly. Do not touch him. Solara froze. Aldrich. The king rarely addressed his wives in public. He rarely showed emotion. But now, his voice was cold steel. Solara, you will not speak to him that way again. Solara looked like she'd been slapped by destiny. He is part of this palace now, Aldrich continued. And under my protection. Mira exhaled softly. Aldrich, I've never heard you speak like this. Solara glared at Lion. What spell did you cast on him? I didn't cast anything. Lian yelped. I don't even know how to cast laundry. Enough, Aldrich commanded. His arms circled protectively around Lia's waist with no hesitation, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Lian nearly died on the spot. Come, Aldrich said softly to him. You should not be here alone. Lian stared. Are you sure? I mean, Solara might stab me if I leave. Aldrich tightened his hold. No one will touch you. Lian became a blushing puddle. The private moment. Aldrich pulled Lion aside into a balcony, far from the chaos. The king looked tense. Not angry. Not cold. Worried. Aldrich turned to him. Did she frighten you? Lian blinked rapidly. I mean, terrified is a strong word, but yes, very. Aldrich's jaw clenched. No one in this palace should fear their place. Well, technically, Lion said nervously. My place is being married to someone I met 5 minutes ago. You are free to resent me, Aldrich interrupted quietly. You are not free to be harmed. Lion felt something warm move in his chest again. Like a soft spark. Why do you care so much? He whispered. Aldrich looked away, which was unusual. Kings didn't look away. Kings stared. Kings commanded. But Aldrich seemed almost shy. You fell from the sky, he said slowly. Into my arms, whether it was fate or accident, you became mine to protect. That sounds very romantic and very scary at the same time, Lian muttered. Aldrich's lips shifted. Was that a smile? A tiny one? Lion gulped. The king stepped closer. Lion. Yes. Aldrich lowered his voice. If anyone threatens you again, you will tell me. Lian nodded slowly. Okay. And you will stay near me during the ceremony. Okay. And you will stop trying to escape through windows. Lian winced. How do you know about that? I know everything. That's also very romantic and very scary. Aldrich took his chin gently, lifting it so their eyes met. You are safe with me. Lion's heart did a backflip. I believe you, he whispered. Aldrich released him slowly, almost reluctantly. Good, the king said. Lian touched his burning cheeks. Why are you being so nice suddenly? Aldrich hesitated. I don't like seeing you frightened. Lian nearly fainted. The end of the chapter scene. As they walked back inside, Solara glared. Mira merely smiled knowingly. Aldrich rested his hand at the small of Lian's back. Casual, protective, intimate. And Lion felt his heart betray him completely. Oh no, he whispered to himself. I'm starting to like him. Chapter 5. The Wedding of Chaos and Destiny. The day of the royal wedding arrived like a dramatic opera performance, loud, chaotic, and filled with the potential for someone to faint. Preferably Lion. He stood in a room filled with attendants, wearing layers of ceremonial robes that weighed more than his guilt for stealing pastries that one time. Is this necessary? Lion gasped, arms raised as servants wrapped him in gold-threaded fabric. It is tradition, Mira said softly, adjusting a sash. It is show-off behavior from dead emperors, Solara grumbled. It is choking me, Lion added. The tailor bowed. It is perfection, Your Highness. I'm not a highness yet, Lion corrected. Solara rolled her eyes. Tragically, you will be. Lion sighed dramatically. Please tell me there's an escape window in this room. Mira pointed. There. Solara slapped her hand down. No. The moment the king walks in, the doors open. Everyone froze. Audric walked in, dressed in black and silver, a ceremonial armor that gleamed like moonlight sharpened into a blade. He looked powerful, regal, dangerous, and unfairly attractive. Leon's brain stopped working. Audric's expression, however, softened the moment he saw him. It was so subtle that only Mira caught it. Solara noticed too, and groaned loudly. Audric stepped closer. You look beautiful. Leon covered his face. Please don't say things like that with your king voice. Audric blinked. Is my voice a problem? It's a weapon, Lion muttered. Solara snorted. A weapon he only uses on you, apparently. Audric turned to her. Solara. She snapped her mouth shut. Leon felt a warm shiver ache down his spine. Audric wasn't even trying to be intimidating. He simply was. And then, I will escort you to the ceremony, Audric said. He held out his hand. Leon hesitated. Audric's voice softened. Please. Leon placed his hand in the king's. A perfect mistake. A perfect beginning. The walk through the palace. Audric walked slowly beside him, adjusting his pace so Lia's short legs could keep up. You don't have to slow down for me, Lion mumbled. You say that, Audric said calmly. And yet every time I walk normally, you run. I do not. Audric gave him a look. Lion groaned. Fine. A little. Maybe. Audric's mouth lifted. Not a full smile. Just a small one. But Leon felt it like a sunbeam aimed directly at his soul. As they approached the ceremony hall, Lion whispered, Are you nervous? Audric blinked. Why would I be? Well, I'm nervous enough for both of us, so it's polite if you join me. Audric paused mid-step. Lion swore the mighty king almost laughed. Almost. I see, Audric said. Then I will be nervous with you. Good. That's teamwork. Yes, Audric replied softly. Teamwork? The ceremony of impossible promises. The grand hall was filled with nobles, banners, flowers, and enough tension to strangle a dragon. Audric led Lion to the center platform. A hush fell. The priest spoke ancient vows. Audric repeated them in a strong, steady voice. Then it was Lion's turn. Leon stepped forward. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. His mind, blank coal. Absolutely blank. Blankness is now my personality trait. Audric leaned down slightly. Lion. Yes? You can speak. No, I can't. Yes, you can. Oh gods, I can't. Audric gently took his hand. Lion stopped shaking. The hall gasped softly. Audric whispered, Look only at me. Leon did. And suddenly, he could breathe. He managed the vows, stumbling, squeaking, nearly swallowing some syllables. But he did it. Aldrich's hand remained steady on his. When the vows completed, the priest announced, "Let it be known that King Aldrich of Valoria and Lion of the Lost Kingdom are now wedded." Leon exhaled in relief. He was married. He was alive. He hadn't fainted. And then, the first touch of something dangerously soft. Aldrich stepped closer. "Tradition," he said quietly. Leon blinked. "What tradition?" Aldrich gently pressed his forehead to Lion's. Leon stopped breathing. Aldrich whispered, "To honor one's chosen." Lion's cheeks turned volcanic. "Your forehead is touching my forehead." "Yes." "Why?" "I told you, tradition." "I think you're abusing traditions." Aldrich smiled. A real smile. Small, rare, and world-shaking. The hall erupted in applause, assuming Lion's squeak was a romantic gasp, the reception of nightmares and flirting. The feast was grand. Tables filled the courtyard. Laughter echoed. But one look at Solara told Lion a fight was coming. She marched toward him. Lion panicked and ducked behind Aldrich like a koala hiding behind a tree. Solara blinked. "Really?" Aldrich placed a protective hand on Lion's shoulder. "Solara." Solara glared. "You didn't have to marry him. You never married someone so quickly." Aldrich's expression didn't shift. "Because none have needed protection so quickly." Solara's eyes widened. "So you admit you're fond of him?" Aldrich didn't answer. Which meant he didn't deny it. Leon turned red enough to be used as warning flags on cliffs. Solara groaned. Unbelievable. The mighty Aldrich falling for a cute little sky boy. "I am not little," Leon protested. Aldrich looked at him. "You are," he said softly. "But it suits you." Lion nearly melted onto the floor. The nighttime escape attempt #8. After dinner, Leon tried sneaking away to get fresh air. Unfortunately, Aldrich spotted him instantly. "Where are you going?" "For a walk." "Alone?" "Yes." "No." Lion groaned. "Aldrich, you cannot escort me everywhere." "I can." "You shouldn't." Aldrich walked beside him anyway. Leon sighed. "You're hopeless." Aldrich looked down at him. "Perhaps." Leon blinked. Did you just make a joke?" "Perhaps." "That's 2 jokes. Someone call the historians." Aldrich let out a soft huff. Not quite laughter, but almost. Then they stopped under a lantern-lit archway. Aldrich faced him fully. "Thank you, Lion. For not running away from the altar. For trusting me." Leon looked at the ground. "I'm still scared." "I know," Aldrich said quietly, stepping closer. "But you try. That is enough." Leon's heart fluttered violently. "You're not stone-hearted at all," he whispered. Aldrich reached out, brushing a loose strand of hair from Lion's face. "Not with you." Leon's face caught fire. "Oh gods, why are you like this? You can't just say things like that." Aldrich leaned in. "Lion." "What?" "Your blush is endearing." Leon shrieked internally. End of chapter scene. Leon pressed his hands over his burning cheeks. "Aldrich, you are going to be the death of me." Aldrich's hand rested gently at the back of his neck, warm and grounding. "No," the king whispered. "I intend to be your life."